Welcome back, Coinology. When people hear the words 1 cent coin from 1998, most of them instantly imagine something ordinary, a small copper-colored coin that passes through hands every day, something so common that it almost feels invisible. But what if that tiny coin, the one most people ignore, actually carried a story so deep, so dramatic, and so full of mystery that collectors around the world whisper about it as a potential treasure worth hundreds of millions of dollars under the rarest and most extreme circumstances? This is where the story of the 1998 1 cent coin truly begins, not as a simple piece of pocket change, but as a symbol of American history, craftsmanship, and the unbelievable power of rarity. The 1998 1 cent coin belongs to the Lincoln Cents series, a series that has been in continuous production since 1909, making it one of the longest-running coin designs in the history of the United States. By 1998, the Lincoln Cent had already seen nearly a century of circulation, wars, economic booms, depressions, technological revolutions, and social change. Every single 1 cent coin struck in that year carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose image has remained on the obverse of the coin for generations. His portrait represents unity, freedom, and the enduring strength of a nation. The weight of the 1998 1 cent coin is approximately 2.5 grams, because by this time the United States Mint had already shifted from the earlier bronze composition to a copper-plated zinc core. This change, introduced in 1982, was driven by the rising cost of copper. Even though the coin appears copper on the outside, its inner core is mostly zinc, making it lighter than older cents. The diameter is about 19.05 millimeters, and the thickness is around 1.52 millimeters. These measurements may sound technical, but to collectors, every fraction of a gram and millimeter matters, because even the smallest variation can signal something extraordinary. The coin symbol on the 1998 1 cent is simple yet powerful. On the obverse, the word liberty appears to the left of Lincoln's portrait, while the year 1998 is stamped to the right. Above Lincoln's head, the iconic phrase, "In God We Trust," stands as a reflection of national belief and tradition. On the reverse, which for 1998 still featured the Lincoln Memorial design, the words "United States of America" curve along the top, 1 cent sits boldly in the center, and E pluribus unum appears above the memorial. Inside the memorial, if you look closely with magnification, you can even see a tiny statue of Lincoln seated, a detail that shows the incredible precision of the coin's design. The design itself was created by Victor David Brenner, whose initials VDB are subtly placed on the coin. This design has become one of the most recognized in the world. By 1998, the Lincoln Memorial reverse had already been in use for nearly 4 decades, first introduced in 1959 to commemorate the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. That means the 1998 cent represents a mature era of this classic design, produced with modern minting technology but still deeply rooted in tradition. In 1998, the United States Mint produced 1 cent coins at multiple facilities, including Philadelphia and Denver, with San Francisco striking proof versions. Coins from Philadelphia typically have no mint mark, while Denver coins carry a small D beneath the ear. Proof coins from San Francisco bear an S mint mark and were struck with specially prepared dies and planchets, resulting in sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. While millions upon millions of 1998 cents were produced, only a tiny fraction were struck under unusual conditions that could potentially make them extremely valuable. This is where the idea of worth big money enters the story. Under normal circumstances, a circulated 1998 1 cent coin is worth exactly 1 cent. Even in uncirculated condition, most examples are worth only a few cents to a few dollars. However, the world of coin collecting is not about the ordinary. It is about the extraordinary, the rare errors, the unexpected metal compositions, the misstrikes, and the coins that should not exist but somehow do. Collectors pay astronomical prices for coins that break the rules. A 1998 1 cent coin struck on the wrong planchet, such as a bronze planchet instead of the standard zinc core, would instantly become one of the most talked about discoveries in modern numismatics. If a 1998 cent were accidentally struck on a 95% copper planchet intended for an earlier year, its weight would be higher, around 3.11 grams, and its value could skyrocket into the hundreds of thousands or even millions, depending on condition and authentication. Another factor that fuels legendary valuations is the possibility of dramatic mint errors. Double dies, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment in the die-making process, can transform a common coin into a collector's dream. Off-center strikes, broad strikes, missing clad layers, and dramatic die cracks all add layers of rarity and excitement. In the most extreme and hypothetical scenarios, a unique, one-of-a-kind 1998 1-cent error coin, authenticated and graded at the highest level, could attract attention from elite collectors and museums worldwide. The idea of a 1998 1-cent coin reaching a market value of $331 million exists in the realm of legendary speculation, the kind of stories that circulate among collectors and inspire people to search through jars of old coins late at night. Such a valuation would require a perfect storm: absolute uniqueness, historical significance, flawless preservation, and global demand. While such prices are almost unheard of for modern 1-cent coins, the history of numismatics has shown time and again that rarity can defy expectations. Coins once dismissed as trivial have later sold for record-breaking sums because they represented something no other coin could. The history of the 1-cent coin itself adds emotional weight to this fascination. The penny has been part of American life since the late 18th century, witnessing the nation's birth, expansion, and transformation. By 1998, the penny was already under debate, with some questioning its practicality and cost of production. Yet despite these debates, the penny remained a symbol of everyday commerce and accessibility, a reminder that even the smallest unit of currency plays a role in a nation's economy. For collectors, the thrill is not just about money. It is about discovery, about holding history in the palm of your hand. A 1998 1-cent coin may have passed through countless pockets, cash registers, and vending machines, but in rare cases, it might have avoided circulation altogether, preserved in pristine condition, waiting for someone to recognize its potential. That moment of recognition, when an ordinary object becomes extraordinary, is what drives the passion of coin collecting. As the market for rare coins continues to evolve, interest in modern-era rarities has grown significantly. Collectors are no longer focused only on 19th-century gold coins or early silver dollars. They are paying attention to transitional errors, modern mint mistakes, and coins that challenge assumptions about value. The 1998 1-cent coin sits right at the intersection of modern production and traditional design, making it a fascinating subject for both new and experienced collectors. When people talk about market current value in extreme terms, they are often expressing the dream that any coin, no matter how small, could be the next legendary discovery. While most 1998 cents will remain common, the possibility, however slim, that one could be something extraordinary keeps the dream alive. It encourages people to look closer, to weigh their coins, to examine details under magnification, and to learn the history behind the metal. This is only the beginning of the story. The deeper you go into the world of the 1998 1-cent coin, the more layers you uncover, from minting processes and error classifications to collector psychology and market dynamics. Every detail matters, every scratch, every gram, every tiny letter. And in that attention to detail lies the magic that transforms a simple 1-cent coin into a symbol of unlimited potential, a reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. As the story continues, it is important to understand how collectors actually determine whether a 1998 1-cent coin is ordinary or extraordinary. The first step is always close examination, because the smallest detail can completely change a coin's identity. Serious collectors often use digital scales accurate to at least 2 decimal places, calipers to measure diameter and thickness, and magnification tools ranging from 10x to 40x. When a 1998 cent is placed on a scale and shows a weight different from the expected 2.5 grams, that is when excitement begins. A heavier or lighter weight can indicate an off-metal strike, a missing layer, or an experimental or transitional error, all of which are among the most desirable categories in modern numismatics. The composition of the 1998 1-cent coin is a copper-plated zinc structure, approximately 97.5% zinc with a thin outer layer of copper. This thin copper coating is only about 8 microns thick, yet it gives the coin its familiar warm color. Over time, damage or corrosion can expose the zinc core, turning parts of the coin gray or dull. However, a coin that appears copper through and through, especially when weighed, could raise the possibility of a wrong planchet error. Such discoveries are extremely rare, but history has proven they do occur, often by accident when leftover planchets from earlier years are mistakenly fed into the presses. Another factor that adds intrigue to the 1998 1-cent is die variety. Dies wear out over time, and when they are repaired or replaced, subtle differences can appear. Slight changes in lettering thickness, spacing, or alignment can create collectible varieties. Some collectors dedicate entire lifetimes to studying these minute differences. To the untrained eye, all 1998 cents look the same, but to a specialist, they can tell stories of machine stress, human intervention, and production speed at the mint. Proof versions of the 1998 1-cent coin deserve special attention as well. These coins were struck primarily for collectors and were never intended for circulation. Proof coins are made using specially polished dies and planchets, resulting in sharp edges, frosted designs, and mirror-like fields. A perfect proof coin graded at the highest level can command significant premiums, especially when combined with unusual errors such as cameo contrast anomalies, doubled dies, or striking defects that somehow escaped quality control. While proof coins are generally more carefully made, the rare proof error is often more valuable than a regular circulation error because of its unexpected nature. The concept of market value in coin collecting is driven by demand, rarity, condition, and story. A coin is not valuable simply because it is old or shiny. It becomes valuable because collectors want it and cannot easily obtain it. In the hypothetical scenario where a 1998 1-cent coin is unique, perfectly preserved, and historically significant, its value could climb to unimaginable levels. Stories of coins selling for millions often begin with disbelief, followed by intense competition among wealthy collectors who see the coin as a trophy, a once-in-a-lifetime acquisition that elevates their collection to legendary status. Condition plays a massive role in valuation. Coins are graded on a scale that ranges from heavily worn to flawless mint state. A 1998 cent that has never circulated, showing no wear, full luster, and sharp details, will always be more desirable than one that has spent years in circulation. Professional grading services encapsulate coins in protective holders and assign them grades that are recognized worldwide. A top-grade modern coin, especially one with an error, can see its value multiply dramatically. The psychology behind collecting cannot be ignored. Humans are drawn to rarity and uniqueness. The idea that something small and overlooked could be incredibly valuable taps into a universal dream. This is why stories about rare pennies spread so quickly. They inspire people to search, to hope, and to learn. The 1998 1-cent coin, despite being modern, benefits from this psychology because it exists in huge numbers, making the rare exceptions even more thrilling when discovered. Historically, the penny has often been at the center of major transitions in U.S. coinage. Metal shortages, cost concerns, and technological changes have all affected how pennies are made. By the late 1990s, minting technology had reached a high level of efficiency, but no system is perfect. Errors still happened, and when they did, they created the modern rarities that collectors now chase. A 1998 cent with a dramatic error represents a moment when the system failed just enough to produce something extraordinary. Market trends show that interest in error coins has grown steadily. Online auctions, forums, and social media have connected collectors around the world, allowing rare discoveries to gain instant attention. A newly discovered, unique 1998 1-cent error would not stay a secret for long. Images, videos, and expert analyses would circulate rapidly, building hype and demand. In such an environment, prices can escalate quickly, driven by competition and media attention. It is also important to understand that extreme valuations are often theoretical until a sale actually occurs. A coin might be estimated at an enormous figure based on comparisons, rarity, and potential demand, but the true market value is ultimately determined when a buyer and seller agree on a price. The idea of a $331 million valuation represents the upper limit of imagination, the point at which a coin becomes more than an object and turns into a cultural phenomenon. For many people, the real value of the 1998 1-cent coin lies in the journey it inspires. Searching through rolls of coins, learning about mint marks, studying weights and designs, and understanding history all create a deeper appreciation for something most people take for granted. Every coin becomes a lesson, every detail a clue. As this journey continues, the 1998 1-cent coin stands as a reminder that value is not always obvious. Sometimes it hides behind familiarity. Sometimes it waits for curiosity and patience. And sometimes, in the rarest of cases, it rewards that curiosity with a discovery that changes everything. This ongoing fascination ensures that the story of the 1998 penny is far from over, and each coin examined brings with it the possibility, however small, of uncovering something truly extraordinary. As we move even deeper into the world of the 1998 1-cent coin, the conversation naturally turns toward the hidden stories that live inside minting floors, because every coin is born from a complex process involving machines, human oversight, pressure, heat, and speed. In 1998, the United States Mint was producing billions of coins every year to meet circulation demand. This massive scale of production means that even a tiny error rate can result in rare coins slipping through unnoticed. Those few coins, accidentally different from the rest, are what drive legends in modern coin collecting. When planchets are fed into high-speed presses, they are struck with tremendous force, imprinting the design into the metal. If a planchet enters the press incorrectly, or if the die alignment is slightly off, the resulting coin can show dramatic visual differences. An off-center strike might cut part of the design away, leaving blank metal on one side. A double strike can create overlapping images, making Lincoln's profile appear ghost-like or distorted. These are not just defects. To collectors, they are evidence of the minting process frozen in time. The 1998 1-cent coin also exists in the context of transitional fears and rumors that often surround coinage. Even though the official composition had already changed years earlier, stories still circulate about experimental metals, test strikes, or leftover materials being used accidentally. While most of these stories remain unproven, the possibility keeps collectors vigilant. A single authenticated example can rewrite everything experts thought they knew about a particular year. Another area that fuels fascination is the surface quality of the coin. Under magnification, collectors study flow lines, strike strength, and luster. A strong strike with full details indicates fresh dies and proper pressure. Weak areas can point to die wear or improper striking force. On a 1998 cent, the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat, as well as the clarity of the Lincoln Memorial steps on the reverse, can reveal a lot about how and when the coin was struck. These details help experts reconstruct the conditions under which the coin was made. The concept of big money in coin collecting is often misunderstood. It is not simply about age or face value. It is about narrative. A coin that tells a compelling story attracts attention, and attention creates demand. A 1998 1-cent coin with an extraordinary error tells a story of chance, oversight, and survival. It survived melting, survived circulation, survived being dismissed as ordinary, and finally emerged into the spotlight. That story alone adds intangible value that cannot be measured by metal content. Collectors also consider population data when evaluating value. How many examples are known? How many are confirmed by professional grading services? For most 1998 cents, the population is enormous. For rare errors, the population might be in the single digits, or even just one. A unique coin exists in a category all its own. There is no comparison, no price guide, no past sale to reference. In such cases, the market becomes emotional rather than analytical, and emotions can push prices far beyond expectations. The idea of a $331 million valuation symbolizes the absolute extreme of this emotional market. It represents a scenario where the coin transcends numismatics and becomes a cultural artifact. Wealthy collectors, investors, institutions, and even museums could see such a coin as a once-in-a-generation opportunity. At that level, the coin is no longer just a 1-cent piece, it becomes a symbol of rarity itself. Another important aspect is authentication. With high values come high risks. Counterfeits, altered coins, and exaggerated claims are common in the market. This is why professional authentication is essential. Experts analyze metal composition using advanced technology, study die characteristics, and compare the coin against known standards. Only after passing rigorous examination can a coin be accepted as genuine. A confirmed extraordinary 1998 cent would undergo intense scrutiny before being recognized as legitimate. Time also plays a role in shaping value. As years pass, coins from the late 1990s slowly move further away from the present, gaining historical distance. What feels modern today will feel historical tomorrow. Younger collectors may feel nostalgic about coins they remember from childhood, increasing demand. At the same time, coins lost to circulation, damage, or destruction reduce the available supply of high-quality examples. The penny itself has faced debates about its future. Discussions about discontinuing the 1-cent coin have appeared repeatedly in economic and political circles. If production ever stops, existing pennies instantly become relics of a discontinued denomination. In that scenario, interest in specific years, including 1998, could intensify, especially for exceptional examples. Scarcity combined with nostalgia is a powerful driver of value. For the everyday person, this story encourages a new way of looking at coins. Instead of seeing spare change as insignificant, it becomes a field of possibilities. Every coin has weight, texture, history, and potential. The act of examining a 1998 1-cent coin connects the present to the past, linking a simple object to the vast machinery of a nation's economy and history. As the narrative unfolds, the 1998 1-cent coin becomes more than metal. It becomes a reminder that value is often hidden, that history can be held in your hand, and that even the smallest object can carry a story powerful enough to capture the imagination of the world. And with every coin turned over, every detail studied, the legend grows, inviting curiosity, passion, and the belief that somewhere out there, an ordinary-looking penny may be waiting to redefine what extraordinary truly means. As the exploration continues, it becomes clear that the story of the 1998 1-cent coin is not limited to minting errors and metal composition alone. It also lives in the global community of collectors, historians, and enthusiasts who dedicate their time to studying even the smallest variations. Coin collecting is not just a hobby, it is a discipline built on patience, observation, and deep respect for detail. The 1998 cent has become part of this broader culture, where knowledge itself is a form of value. Collectors often speak about the hunt, the process of searching through rolls of coins from banks, old jars in family homes, and forgotten collections. The 1998 penny frequently appears in these searches because of its abundance, yet that abundance creates a paradox. When millions of coins look the same, the one that is different stands out even more dramatically. The thrill of discovering something unusual among thousands of ordinary coins cannot be overstated. That moment, when a collector notices an odd color, an unusual strike, or an unexpected weight, is the moment where history can change. Technology has transformed this hunt. Digital microscopes, high-resolution photography, and online databases allow collectors to compare their finds with known varieties instantly. In 1998, such technology was not widely accessible to the public, which means that many unusual coins from that era may have gone unnoticed for years. Only now, with modern tools, are collectors able to re-examine older coins with fresh eyes. This delayed discovery adds another layer of intrigue to the 1998 1-cent coin. The economic backdrop of the late 1990s also adds context. The United States was experiencing technological growth, globalization, and economic optimism. Coins minted during this time represent a snapshot of that era. A 1998 cent passed through a world of early internet adoption, shifting consumer habits, and rapid change. Holding such a coin is like holding a small piece of that moment in history, preserved in metal. Value in numismatics often grows when a coin symbolizes a turning point. The Lincoln cent itself has undergone multiple redesigns, but the 1998 version sits just before major changes in the following decade. In 2009, the reverse design would change to commemorate Lincoln's bicentennial, and later, the Lincoln Memorial would be replaced by the Union Shield. This means the 1998 cent represents one of the later years of a long-standing design, adding to its historical relevance. The idea of extraordinary market value also relies on storytelling beyond the coin itself. Media coverage, documentaries, and viral stories can amplify interest. If a remarkable 1998 1-cent were discovered, the narrative would spread quickly, captivating audiences who may never have cared about coins before. Public fascination can turn a niche collectible into a mainstream sensation, and mainstream attention can dramatically influence market dynamics. Another dimension of value comes from provenance, the documented history of a coin's ownership. A 1998 cent discovered in an unusual location or tied to a notable individual or event could gain additional significance. Provenance adds authenticity and depth, turning a coin into a historical artifact with a traceable journey through time. This narrative element is often what separates high-value collectibles from priceless ones. Educational institutions and museums also play a role in shaping perception. When experts validate a coin's importance, it gains legitimacy in the eyes of the public. Exhibitions, academic papers, and expert commentary can elevate a single coin into a reference point for future research. A unique 1998 1-cent could become a case study in modern minting anomalies, studied for generations. Emotion is another powerful force. Collectors often form personal connections with their coins. A 1998 cent might remind someone of childhood, a first collection, or a meaningful moment. When many individuals share similar emotional connections, collective nostalgia emerges, further increasing demand. Emotion, combined with rarity, creates a powerful engine for value. the debate over whether a penny can truly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars is part of what keeps the conversation alive. Skeptics argue from logic and statistics, while dreamers argue from possibility and precedent. History shows that markets are shaped by both. Rare stamps, paintings, and artifacts have reached astonishing prices not because of their material value, but because of what they represent. A coin is no different. As the story unfolds further, the 1998 1-cent coin continues to challenge assumptions. It asks us to reconsider what we overlook, to question the boundaries of value, and to recognize the role of chance in shaping history. Each examination, each discussion, adds another layer to its legend. And as long as curiosity exists, the legend of the 1998 penny will continue to grow, inspiring collectors and dreamers alike to look closer at the smallest details and imagine the extraordinary hidden within the ordinary. As the narrative moves forward, the focus shifts to the long-term future of the 1998 1-cent coin and how time itself can transform perception. Coins that are considered common today can become objects of fascination decades later, not because they change physically, but because the world around them changes. The passing of time adds distance, and distance creates history. The 1998 penny, once just another coin in circulation, gradually becomes a marker of a specific era, carrying the identity of the late 20th century into the future. One of the most powerful forces in coin collecting is scarcity created by attrition. Every year, countless pennies are lost, damaged, corroded, or melted. Even modern coins disappear at a steady rate. As years pass, the number of well-preserved 1998 cents naturally declines. This silent reduction in supply means that truly pristine examples become harder to find. When combined with any unusual characteristic, such scarcity can magnify value dramatically if the role of grading becomes even more critical as time goes on. Coins that were once casually stored in jars or drawers may develop marks, stains, or wear. Those that were carefully preserved stand apart. A 1998 cent graded at the highest levels represents not only rarity of condition but also foresight. Someone, knowingly or unknowingly, protected that coin from damage, allowing it to survive in a state that few others achieved. Market behavior in numismatics often mirrors trends seen in art and collectibles. When collectors realize that a certain category is underappreciated, interest can surge rapidly. Modern coins, including those from the 1990s, have already begun to attract more attention. The shift happens quietly at first, then suddenly becomes obvious when prices rise and competition increases. The 1998 1-cent coin sits in a position where such a shift could occur, especially if new discoveries or research spark renewed interest. Another factor that influences future value is education. As more people learn how to identify errors, varieties, and condition differences, the collective knowledge of the market grows. This increased awareness can lead to more discoveries but also to higher demand for known rarities. Educational content, videos, and discussions keep the topic alive, ensuring that certain coins remain in the spotlight. The symbolic meaning of the penny itself cannot be ignored. The 1-cent coin represents humility, beginnings, and small but meaningful contributions. It is often used in expressions and metaphors, reinforcing its cultural presence. A 1998 penny elevated to legendary status would embody the idea that even the smallest thing can hold immense worth. This symbolism resonates far beyond the coin collecting community. The hypothetical valuation of hundreds of millions of dollars becomes more understandable when seen through this symbolic lens. At such levels, the coin is no longer just an object of trade, it becomes a statement. It challenges assumptions about wealth, value, and significance. It captures attention precisely because it contradicts expectations. Collectors and investors who think long-term often look for items with strong narratives, clear rarity, and emotional appeal. A unique 1998 1-cent coin would satisfy all three. Its narrative would involve modern production, accidental creation, and delayed discovery. Its rarity would be absolute. Its emotional appeal would stem from its contrast between face value and perceived worth. The global nature of modern collecting also plays a role. Coin collecting is no longer confined to one country. International buyers participate actively, bringing diverse perspectives and financial power. A remarkable 1998 cent could attract interest from across the world, turning it into a global icon of modern numismatics. As years turn into decades, the context around the 1998 1-cent coin will continue to evolve. Economic systems may change, technologies may advance, and cultural values may shift. Through it all, the coin remains the same physical object, silently carrying its story forward. That permanence gives it a unique kind of power. In the end, the story of the 1998 penny is about more than metal and money. It is about time, chance, and human curiosity. It is about the willingness to look closely at what others ignore and to imagine possibilities beyond the obvious. With each passing year, the legend deepens and the potential grows, reminding us that history often hides in the smallest places, waiting patiently to be discovered. As the journey continues into even deeper reflection, the 1998 1-cent coin begins to represent something almost philosophical within the world of collecting. It stands at the intersection of certainty and imagination. On one side, there are the known facts: its weight, its design, its composition, its massive mintage. On the other side, there is possibility, the unknown space where rarity can emerge, where a single exception can redefine an entire category. This tension is what keeps collectors endlessly fascinated. Every major numismatic discovery in history has followed a similar pattern. At first, a coin is ignored because it seems too common or too modern. Then, someone notices something unusual. That observation leads to research, debate, skepticism, and eventually confirmation. Once confirmed, perception shifts permanently. The 1998 1-cent coin exists at the beginning of this potential cycle, where attention itself can be the catalyst for discovery. The minting process in the late 1990s was fast, efficient, and largely automated, but automation does not eliminate error, it simply changes its nature. Mechanical tolerances, material handling, and die maintenance all introduce variables. A tiny malfunction or oversight, repeated for only a moment, can produce a small batch of anomalous coins. Most are caught and removed, but history proves that not all are. Those that escape become the seeds of legend. Collectors often discuss the idea of sleepers, coins that are undervalued because their importance has not yet been recognized. The 1998 cent is often mentioned in such discussions not because it is currently rare, but because modern coins are still being re-evaluated. As research methods improve and more data becomes available, sleepers can awaken, surprising even seasoned experts. Another layer of intrigue lies in how society values objects. Money itself is a shared agreement of worth. A 1-cent coin has value because society agrees it does. When a coin's value skyrockets due to rarity, it exposes the flexible nature of value itself. A 1998 penny worth millions would be a perfect illustration of how context, perception, and desire can transform meaning. The role of storytelling in value creation cannot be overstated. Humans remember stories more than statistics. A narrative about a rare 1998 1-cent discovered in an old roll, authenticated after intense scrutiny, and revealed to be unique would captivate audiences. That story would travel far beyond coin shows and collector circles, embedding itself in popular culture. Museums and exhibitions often act as amplifiers of such stories. When an object is placed behind glass with an explanation of its significance, it gains authority. A remarkable 1998 cent displayed in a major museum would instantly be perceived as important, reinforcing its legendary status. Public recognition often precedes market recognition. There is also a generational aspect to consider. Collectors who grew up in the 1990s are reaching an age where they have the resources and interest to pursue meaningful collectibles. Nostalgia drives demand. Coins from one's youth hold emotional weight, and that emotional connection can translate into financial commitment. The future of physical currency adds another dimension. As digital transactions become more common, physical coins may become less central to daily life. This shift could make coins from the late 20th century more symbolic, representing a transitional period between physical and digital economies. The 1998 penny could come to represent that moment in history. At extreme valuations, ownership itself becomes a form of stewardship. The owner of a legendary coin is not just a collector but a caretaker of history. Decisions about display, research access, and preservation take on greater significance. A unique 1998 cent would likely be studied, written about, and preserved with extraordinary care. Ultimately, the fascination with the 1998 1-cent coin reflects something universal. It is the belief that the extraordinary can emerge from the ordinary. It is the idea that attention, curiosity, and patience can reveal hidden layers of meaning. As long as people continue to search, to question, and to imagine, the story will keep evolving. The legend grows not because of certainty, but because of possibility. And in that space between what is known and what could be, the 1998 1-cent coin continues to shine, quietly inviting the world to look closer, to think deeper, and to never underestimate the power of even the smallest piece of history. As the story reaches further depth, it begins to touch the human element in a more personal way, because behind every great discovery there is always an individual moment of curiosity. Somewhere, someone picks up a 1998 1-cent coin and pauses for just a second longer than usual. That pause is powerful. It represents awareness. It is the moment when an ordinary routine is interrupted by curiosity, and curiosity is where every great numismatic story begins. Collectors often describe how their perception of coins changes over time. At first, coins are simply objects. Later, they become data points, then historical evidence, and finally symbols. The 1998 penny transitions through all these stages. What begins as spare change eventually becomes a subject of study, speculation, and imagination. That transformation happens in the mind before it ever happens in the market. There is also a quiet discipline involved in coin collecting that mirrors scientific research. Hypotheses are formed, tested, and sometimes disproven. Weights are measured repeatedly, surfaces examined under different lighting, compositions analyzed, and comparisons made with verified examples. A 1998 cent that initially seems unusual may later prove to be ordinary, and that is part of the process. Each examination refines understanding and sharpens skill, yet every now and then, a coin resists easy explanation. Its weight does not match expectations. Its surface behaves differently under magnification. Its sound when gently tapped is unfamiliar. These subtle signs are often the first indicators that something rare may be present. The excitement that follows is intense but controlled, because experienced collectors know that patience is essential. The global network of experts plays a crucial role at this stage. Images are shared, opinions requested, and debates begin. Some experts may dismiss the coin at first, others may see potential. This tension between skepticism and belief is healthy. It ensures that only truly extraordinary coins survive the scrutiny required to be recognized as rare. The 1998 1-cent coin benefits from being part of a well-documented series. Decades of research into the Lincoln cent provide a strong framework for comparison. This means that any deviation stands out clearly. When a coin does not fit established patterns, it demands attention. That attention is the gateway to recognition. There is also a poetic irony in the idea of a penny being worth an unimaginable sum. The penny has long been associated with humility, thrift, and small beginnings. Expressions about pennies emphasize modesty. When such an object becomes immensely valuable, it creates a powerful contrast that captures public imagination. It becomes a symbol of transformation. Collectors often speak about legacy. Many collect not just for themselves, but for future generations. A remarkable 1998 cent would not just belong to its discoverer, it would become part of a larger story passed down through time. Articles would be written, videos created, and discussions held. The coin would live many lives beyond its physical existence. The market itself responds to stories like this in unpredictable ways. Sometimes values rise steadily, other times they surge suddenly. Media attention, expert endorsement, and public fascination can converge at once. In those moments, price becomes secondary to significance. People want to be part of the story, to witness history as it unfolds. The idea of a $331 million valuation, while extreme, serves as a symbol of ultimate potential. It represents the outer boundary of imagination, the point where value becomes legendary rather than practical. Whether or not such a figure is ever realized is less important than what it represents, the belief that rarity and story can elevate even the smallest object to extraordinary status. As this belief spreads, it encourages learning. People study mint marks, understand die varieties, learn about metallurgy, and explore history. The 1998 penny becomes a gateway into a broader appreciation of coins and currency. Education itself becomes a reward, independent of financial outcome. In this way, the 1998 1-cent coin continues to evolve in meaning. It is no longer just about money or even collecting. It is about attention, curiosity, and respect for detail. It reminds us that value is not always obvious, that history can be overlooked, and that sometimes the most extraordinary possibilities are hidden within the most familiar things, waiting patiently for someone to truly see them. As the narrative stretches onward, the 1998 1-cent coin begins to feel almost timeless, as though it exists outside the simple boundaries of year and denomination. It becomes a bridge between past, present, and future, carrying with it not only the image of Abraham Lincoln but also the evolving values of the society that produced it. Every time the coin changes hands, it silently absorbs another moment of human experience, another fragment of everyday life. One of the most fascinating aspects of this coin story is how perception shifts with awareness. Before knowledge, the 1998 penny is invisible, easily overlooked. After knowledge, it becomes impossible to ignore. Once someone understands that rarity can exist even in modern coins, every cent demands attention. This heightened awareness transforms routine into ritual, turning simple acts like sorting change into moments of discovery. The economics of rarity operate quietly in the background. Supply decreases slowly, demand increases unpredictably, and value emerges from their interaction. The 1998 cent, though originally produced in enormous quantities, slowly separates into categories over time. Worn coins fade into the background, while sharp, well-preserved examples rise in importance. Any coin with an unusual feature rises even higher, entering a different realm entirely. There is also a social dimension to collecting that deepens the story. Coin shows, online forums, and private groups form communities bound by shared curiosity. Within these spaces, the 1998 penny is discussed, debated, and analyzed. Opinions differ, theories emerge, and collective knowledge grows. These discussions themselves add value, because they keep the coin relevant and alive in the minds of collectors. The influence of modern media cannot be underestimated. Videos, articles, and discussions reach audiences far beyond traditional collectors. A single compelling story about a rare 1998 1-cent could spark widespread interest. Viewers who never considered coins valuable might suddenly begin checking their change. This expansion of the audience amplifies demand and reshapes the market. Another layer of significance comes from the idea of chance. No one knows which coin will become legendary. That uncertainty is part of the magic. The 1998 penny, like countless others, was struck without fanfare, intended for ordinary use. Yet chance alone determines whether it becomes ordinary or extraordinary. That randomness mirrors life itself, adding philosophical depth to the story. As the years advance, academic interest in modern coinage may grow. Scholars might study late 20th century coins as artifacts of economic behavior, design trends, and technological capability. In such studies, unusual coins from 1998 could serve as key examples, illustrating how even advanced systems produce anomalies. The emotional resonance of discovery remains central. The moment when someone realizes they may be holding something rare is unforgettable. It triggers excitement, caution, hope, and disbelief all at once. That emotional journey is often described as more valuable than any monetary reward. The 1998 1-cent coin has the power to create that experience. At extreme levels of value, coins become symbols rather than commodities. They represent ideas, stories, and achievements. A legendary 1998 cent would symbolize the triumph of curiosity over indifference, of knowledge over assumption. It would stand as proof that attention to detail can reveal hidden worlds. The continued discussion about the future of physical money also casts a long shadow. If coins become less common in daily life, those that remain gain historical importance. The 1998 penny could come to represent a period when physical currency was still central, before digital transactions reshaped everyday economics. In the end, the story continues not because it has a conclusion, but because it invites participation. Every person who examines a 1998 1-cent coin becomes part of the narrative. Each question asked, each detail noticed, adds another layer. And so the legend grows, fueled by curiosity, imagination, and the enduring belief that even the smallest object can hold a story vast enough to inspire wonder. Got it? Thumbs up. Here is part 8 continued in the same style, no headings, no captions, no title, very long and flowing, exactly for a YouTube script tone. As the journey stretches even further, the 1998 1-cent coin begins to feel less like an object and more like an idea. It represents how something created in massive numbers can still contain infinite individuality. No two coins live the same life. Some pass through thousands of hands, others rest untouched for decades, and a rare few emerge as symbols of possibility. The 1998 penny carries all of these futures within it. What makes this coin especially compelling is the contrast between expectation and reality. People expect value to be obvious, heavy, shiny, or rare at first glance. The penny defies this expectation. Its power lies in subtlety. The smallest deviation in strike pressure, metal flow, or die alignment can elevate it from common to extraordinary. This teaches collectors that true value often hides in places where few are willing to look closely. Over time, the act of examining a 1998 cent becomes almost meditative. The slow turning of the coin under light, the careful study of Lincoln's profile, the inspection of the memorial's fine lines, all draw the observer into a focused state of attention. In this way, the coin becomes more than a collectible, it becomes an experience. Each examination is a dialogue between the present moment and the past. The idea of massive market value, such as a $331 million figure, captures imagination not because it is likely, but because it represents the outer limits of what is possible. It symbolizes the moment when rarity, story, condition, and demand converge perfectly. At that level, the coin transcends currency and becomes legend. Legends do not need to be common, they need to be unforgettable. There is also a quiet democracy in the penny story. Unlike rare gold coins that were never meant for everyday people, the 1998 1 cent was available to everyone. Anyone, anywhere, could have encountered it. This openness adds to its mystique. The idea that life-changing value could come from something universally accessible speaks to a deep human hope. As collectors continue to search, patterns begin to emerge. Certain years gain attention, certain mints are studied more closely, and certain rumors persist. The 1998 penny remains part of these conversations, not because of what is known, but because of what might still be unknown. Uncertainty keeps curiosity alive, and curiosity keeps markets moving. The longer a coin remains undiscovered or unconfirmed, the more powerful its potential becomes. Time adds pressure and anticipation. If something rare exists and has not yet been found, every passing year increases its mystery. The 1998 cent lives in that space of anticipation, where the next discovery could happen at any moment. Even skepticism plays a role in strengthening the legend. Doubt forces deeper research, stricter standards, and clearer proof. When something extraordinary survives skepticism, it emerges stronger and more respected. In that sense, disbelief is not an enemy of value but a test that sharpens it. As technology advances, future collectors may have tools far beyond today's capabilities. New methods of analysis could reveal secrets hidden in plain sight for decades. What appears ordinary now could later be understood as exceptional. The 1998 1 cent coin waits patiently for such revelations, unchanged by time, ready to be reinterpreted. Ultimately, the story of this coin is a reminder that history is not only found in grand monuments or famous artifacts. Sometimes it exists in the smallest units, quietly circulating, unnoticed. The penny teaches patience, humility, and attention. It asks us to slow down and look closer, and so the narrative continues without an ending, because endings would limit possibility. As long as pennies exist, as long as curiosity survives, and as long as people believe that the extraordinary can emerge from the ordinary, the story of the 1998 1 cent coin will keep unfolding, one careful glance at a time. As the story moves closer toward its final depth, the 1998 1 cent coin begins to feel almost symbolic of time itself. It does not rush. It does not announce its importance. It simply exists, waiting for awareness to catch up with it. This quiet patience is part of what gives the coin its power. In a world driven by speed and immediacy, the penny rewards those who slow down. There is a moment in every collector's journey when they realize that value is not only about discovery, but about understanding. Finding a rare coin is thrilling, but understanding why it is rare is transformative. The 1998 penny becomes a teacher in this way. Through it, collectors learn about metallurgy, history, economics, psychology, and even human behavior. A single coin opens many doors. As discussions continue across generations, stories accumulate. One person remembers finding rolls of 1998 cents at a bank. Another recalls ignoring them, only later learning what could have been. These shared memories form a collective narrative that gives the coin emotional depth. Emotion, once attached, rarely fades, and emotional attachment often outlasts market trends. The concept of extreme value also highlights how markets are shaped by belief. A coin becomes valuable when enough people agree that it is. This agreement is not random, it is built on evidence, rarity, and story. But belief is the final ingredient. The 1998 1-cent coin, in its hypothetical legendary form, represents the moment when belief reaches critical mass. There is also a sense of humility embedded in the penny's journey. No matter how high its valuation climbs in theory, its face value never changes. It remains 1 cent. That contrast serves as a reminder that worth and price are not the same. Worth can be emotional, historical, or symbolic. Price is simply a number agreed upon at a moment in time. As physical money slowly becomes less central in everyday life, coins like the 1998 penny may take on greater historical significance. Future generations may look at these coins as artifacts from a more tactile era, when value could be held, weighed, and examined by hand. This shift in perspective could elevate interest in specific years and conditions. The endurance of the Lincoln image also contributes to the coin's resonance. Lincoln represents unity, resilience, and moral strength. His presence on the 1998 cent connects modern times with foundational ideals. That continuity adds depth, making the coin more than a product of its year. Collectors often speak about the moment of letting go. When a legendary coin finally changes hands, it marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Ownership shifts, but the story continues. A remarkable 1998 cent would pass through history this way, accumulating meaning with each transition. The pursuit itself becomes part of identity. People who search for rare pennies are not just looking for money, they are engaging in a practice of observation and learning. The 1998 penny becomes a companion on that journey, a familiar reference point that grows richer with time. In the quiet moments, when a collector holds a 1998 1-cent coin and turns it slowly under light, there is a sense of connection across time. That connection is subtle but powerful. It links the present to the past and opens a doorway to the future. As this long narrative approaches its final movement, the coin stands not as a conclusion, but as an invitation. An invitation to look closer, to think deeper, and to remain open to possibility. Because in the end, the greatest value of the 1998 1-cent coin may not be measured in dollars at all, but in the curiosity it awakens and the stories it continues to inspire. As the story finally reaches its quiet conclusion, the 1998 1-cent coin rests exactly where it began, small, unassuming, and unchanged in appearance, yet transformed completely in meaning. After traveling through history, imagination, rarity, emotion, and possibility, it returns to the palm of the hand as something far greater than metal. It becomes a symbol of awareness. By now, the penny no longer feels ordinary. It carries the weight of everything it has represented along the way: the precision of machines, the inevitability of error, the patience of time, and the curiosity of human nature. It reminds us that value is not always loud. Sometimes it whispers, waiting for someone willing to listen. The idea of a 1-cent coin connected to a valuation as extreme as hundreds of millions of dollars serves as a mirror. It reflects how humans assign meaning, how stories shape markets, and how belief turns objects into legends. Whether such a valuation is ever realized matters less than what it reveals about perception. The penny teaches that worth is layered, not fixed. In the end, every collector, every viewer, every listener brings their own meaning to the 1998 1-cent coin. For some, it is hope. For others, it is history. For many, it is simply a reminder to look more closely at the world around them. That shared engagement is what keeps the story alive. The coin does not demand attention, yet it rewards it. It does not promise riches, yet it offers knowledge. It does not change, yet it transforms those who truly study it. In this way, the penny becomes timeless. As hands release the coin and it returns to circulation, a drawer, or a collection, its journey continues. Somewhere, someday, another person will pause, look closer, and feel that spark of curiosity all over again. And in that moment, the story begins anew, because history does not always announce itself. Sometimes, it waits quietly in the smallest places, shaped like a simple 1-cent coin from 1998, carrying infinite possibility, enduring meaning, and the reminder that nothing should ever be underestimated.